I wanted you to know that Mom was never very happy that we never got these end of life issues settled. We didn't go to a lawyer. We didn't make it clear. We didn't put anything in writing legally. We didn't get our wishes legally binding. I wish I could go back in time and do everything differently.
You make the best coffee. It is the best part of our walks.
David says it's one of my finest qualities.
Oh, I don't know. You seem to have one or two other good qualities.
Maybe.
For one, you are a good listener.
Maybe. But I wish I were a better talker, too. Or at least a more persuasive one.
Come on. You can be pretty persuasive when you want to be.
Maybe, but not with David sometimes. I was watching this show the other night about the Terry Schiavo case down in Florida a couple of years ago. Remember that?
Yes. It must have been awful for that poor family.
Exactly. That's why I'm trying to get David to just start thinking about a living will or a medical power of attorney.
He wouldn't.
He didn't say no. He kept saying later. We'll do it later. I guess I understand that, sort of.
Me too. It's human to be scared of facing the idea that you might be human.
Some people don't want to deal with it ever. And you know, I let it go. Maybe I really didn't want to deal with it either. I should have insisted, though, because the show was also about these two different ways of controlling what happens to you. Living wills and medical power of attorney, about what the difference between them is.
Is one better than the other? I mean, did the show tell you what's to choose between them?
Yeah, it did, but I can't remember the details. I was also thinking that they never really touched on if it makes sense to have both. I figured we'd go to a health attorney and have everything explained. But we haven't yet, so I'm still in the dark.
What I would want to know is whether either of them are binding to the doctor or hospital, because Jane Keller told me her doctor said that these advanced directives aren't worth the paper they're written on.
I hate that I have no idea. I think I have to go back to work on David.
So, here we have a well-meaning man. He raised 3 children, and in his working life, he was always direct and decisive. He never put off until tomorrow what he could do today. But when faced with his own mortality, he did what so many of us often do, nothing. You know, it takes a great resolve to sit down with your family and say this: look, when I can't speak for myself and I'm dying, this is what I want done. I mean, why do you think so many people don't make out wills? Well, lots of reasons, I suppose. The fear that you might tempt fate, the difficulty of bringing it up in the first place, or finding the words to even begin the conversation. There's just a general awkwardness and discomfort with the subject itself. Anyway, since now you've seen our play, it raises a few questions. Which ones do you think it did? What is a living will? What is a medical power of attorney? What is the difference between the two legal instruments? Is one better than the other? Or do healthcare providers actually follow them? And what happens if they don't?
A living will is a document that an individual uses to specify their wishes in the event they have a terminal condition, or in some states, an irreversible condition. It's a document that you execute now, but is used for the time, if it ever arises, that you have a terminal condition or an irreversible condition, to specify what you want done and those things you don't want to have done. Another document that you can execute is a medical power of attorney. Under a medical power of attorney, you are identifying who you want to make decisions in the event you're incapacitated, when you are unable to say for yourself what you want to have done or what you don't want to have done.
Healthcare providers always attempt to act in the best interest of the patient, but in an emergency, when someone is dying, they may not have the information. They may not have a power of attorney. They may not have the living will. So it's critical that you share these documents with your healthcare providers, your physician, your family, and anyone that might be in a position to make a decision when you're not capable of doing it.
And in that rare circumstance where you feel that the patient's wishes are not being respected, every facility has resources that you can turn to, be it an ethics committee, a social worker, the administration of the facility, or your own personal attorney. There are lots of options to go to be sure that the patient's wishes are respected.